Hi, I'm Melissa Foster, and I'm the author of more than 100 romance novels, steamy romance novels. And I never come on here and talk about my journey. I don't usually like to come on to video anyway. Like, I love chatting with readers, but being on video is a strange thing because you're kind of talking to yourself and still trying to talk to the audience, and you have to stare at yourself, which is really uncomfortable. So this is me. I never pretend to be anything but me. I'm not going to dress up for people. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I always look like my hair has been windblown. And I write in a very small cottage on Cape Cod overlooking the water. When I say small, I mean small, like 750 square feet. So I'm not living in some mansion or anything like that. I have created my life by choice and the way that it makes me happy, which is surrounded by the people and things that matter to me. My dog, my friends, my family, and books, always books. So talk about my journey a little bit. So this is how I got started. I was writing women's fiction. I was tearing people's hearts out. And a good friend of mine dared me to write something that would not tear her heart out. So I thought, okay, I'll go into romance. The problem is when you have a brain like mine, you need a little bit more like deep and angsty stories. So when I wrote my first book, which was my first romance novel, which was called Sisters in Love, which ended up being part of a trilogy, The Snow Sisters, the first thing I asked myself was, who can I kill? And everybody that I knew in romance was like, no, you can't do that. Don't do that in romance. That's not what you want to do. And I was like, I'm doing it. So the first thing you need to know about me is that I will go against what anybody else tells me to do. They told me to not write LGBTQ characters because I would lose 25% of my audience. And of course, I created the Harborside Nights series. So I really do what my heart tells me to do, even when other people tell me I shouldn't do it. Anyway, what happened was after I evolved, after writing The Snow Sisters in book 3, I had met the Bradens, and the Bradens at Weston is my beloved first billionaire series. And I didn't write it to be a billionaire series. They just happened to be very wealthy. This was back, I don't remember the year, maybe 2012, 2013. Before people were talking about tropes. So billionaires might have been a thing like in the romance world, but remember, I was coming from women's fiction. I wasn't involved with like social media romance, and at that time there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram. And the world was different. So anyway, so I wrote what was in my heart. I found these characters, I created them, then they started talking to me, and the words just flowed. So for a while there, for several years, I was writing 10,000 words a day. I was so lost in my world that I would write from 7 in the morning until sometimes 10, 11, 12 at night, and I loved it. I sustained that for a number of years. And then I got back to reality and realized that is not something that I want to be doing. I mean, yes, I want to spend time in my world, but I also need to have friends and family and, some kind of life. I come from a really big family, by the way. I've got 6 brothers. I grew up trying to outbeat them at everything. The only thing I didn't outbeat them with is school. They all went on to get advanced degrees, and me being the rebel was like, nope, I'm starting a company at 21 and buying a house and quitting my job 2 weeks after I bought that house to start that company. So yeah, that's me. And this is my dog who you will see me petting. This is Jojo. She is my sidekick. I adore her. We live on Cape Cod, and you will notice that a lot of my stories are set on Cape Cod, but I am from Maryland. And I, have family in lots of different places. So what happened after the Snow Sisters was I wrote the Bradens. And when I was writing the Bradens, I met their cousins, and I met the Remingtons, which created 2 more spin-off series. And so the thing that you need to know about my series, my overall umbrella, is called the Love and Bloom series, under which there are about 20 family series. So it's the Love and Bloom Big Family Romance Collection. That's the umbrella over the whole thing. And then there are families underneath, and they interconnect. But here's the great thing about my books. No backstory is the same. No two backstories are the same. No two stories are the same, meaning you're not going to find formulaic writing when you read a Melissa Foster book. You're not going to find third act breakups. Maybe once in a blue moon, but that's not my thing. Like, I am built around real life, and my characters have real life issues. They have fantastic sex. And people say, well, do you throw sex in as like a hook? And to me, no. Like, the way I grew up, the way I was taught is that sex is a natural part of life. When you are falling in love with somebody, you are sharing your life, and eventually you are sharing your body. When that happens is different for every person, just like it's different for every character. Some characters, you might read page 1, chapter 1, and be in bed with the hero and the heroine. Other ones, it might come on page 200 or page 60 or page 187. Again, I let the characters lead me. So my books interconnect, and any character that you see and fall in love with, meaning not my villains, but the characters that you see and fall in love with will appear in future books. So you never lose track of your favorite characters, of engagements, weddings, and births. It is all there throughout the entire journey. Now, they're not going to show up in every single book, but they'll show up enough throughout the collection that you feel like you're seeing family. You haven't lost them. And to give you an example, Danica, who is the heroine in book 1 of the entire collection, she's the heroine in Sisters in Love, has another baby in like book 44. And so when my avid fans who have read the entire collection get to those books and get those golden nuggets, they are as excited as I am. And that to me is one of the reasons that I will always continue writing in this world, because I want to see what happens to my characters. 10 years from now, I'll be writing their children's children, and I'll still be able to see the grandparents and then the great-grandparents. To me, that is the part of world building that makes it the most exciting. I am selfish. I never want to give up my characters, so you don't have to either. I have a lot of books, and this is not any more than about, I would say like probably 6 of my series. And again, I have 20. And what you see across the top is this gorgeous pastel rainbow. That is not all of my series either, but that is one of my favorite collections. That is the Love and Bloom Classic Discreet Collection, in which I have made every series has its own color, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So my classic discreets are just that. They are classic, they are discreet, they are all meant to be similar. So every series has its own family crest, and it has the series name here and the hero or the heroine's name up top, just depending on which is the family member or the group of friends in that particular series. This is a Steele's, so this is the hero's name here, Jock Steele. This is the whiskeys, and so this has Truman Grit, who is the first. He's not a whiskey, but he is found family, which is, I have to tell you, I don't write by trope, but people point out to me all the time that my books really surround found family. And I think that's because the way I grew up, my house was like the catch-all for any kids who were having trouble. So if a kid was having trouble with his parents and needed a place to stay for a weekend or a week, they would come and stay with us. If my brothers were away at college, but their friends needed a place, they'd come and stay with us. And our house was that safe place for people, which is why I have houses like that and families like that, parents like that, sisters and brothers like that in many of my series. I also have assholes. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, every parent is not perfect. Every character is not perfect. You are going to get great character arcs. You're going to get deep, meaningful stories, great steamy scenes, and every story is different. No two are the same. No two backstories, no two a cadence of the story. I don't write formulaic. I let my characters run this story for me. So anyway, this is my Classic Discreet collection. I sell these only on my shop, which is shop.melissafoster.com. And I have them for almost all of my series out now. They have like a rolling release schedule. So I think I have about 5 more series that are getting ready to come out fairly soon. And by the end of this year, the Love and Bloom Classic Discreet collection will be up to date and everything will be available. Okay, so let me show you the way these are set up. So these are set up with, inside you have a special title page that does have the real title of the book. But again, nobody can tell what you're reading from the outside. It just has the couple's name. And again, the series name, the hero's name, and a Classic Discreet. And on the back is a simple non-sexual tagline. So again, if these are on your coffee table, on your bookshelf, nobody's gonna look at it and go, oh, she's reading smut. And you know what? There's no shame in reading smut. So I am a proud smut reader. But I also wanted something pretty for myself. And that's why this collection was put out there. And it was pointed out to me that people do like to have books that they can throw out on their coffee table and not have other people know what they're reading. So, this is it. This is where you get these books. Anyway, so we have that. Any book that is purchased from my shop will also have either a signed signature page from me. This is a dry signature. These are pictures of me and JoJo. I signed this, but this is a copy. If they don't come with this page, if you get like inventory that was older or inventory where the distributor didn't yet have that page in the book, then you will get a signed book plate. And then in my Classic Discreet, so many of my books also have a family tree, which I'm going to show you upside down, depending on the family and depending on the story. And then the Silver Island books come with a map of Silver Island, and each chapter starts with a family crest. Also, in the back of these Classic Discreet, you have only one page of back matter. You don't have several previews or anything like that. You have a book list, which lists all of my series and all of my books. And then you have one page that tells you where you are in the series, what the rest of the series, and what to read next. And in some of them, it shows you in which book the main characters first appeared, in case you want to go back and read that. So that, again, is my Classic Discreet, and shop.melissafoster. You know what? TikTok will kick me off if I say the last part of it too often. Okay, so what else? What other people are interested in covers all the time. So I'm going to show you the other types of covers. Many of my books will have 3 covers. They will have the Classic Discreet. They will have a special edition. I am in love with these steals at Silver Island, special edition. And by the way, this story, Tempted by Love, which kicked off the series, is about a divorced mom of a toddler. The toddler never smiles. She is like the scowlingest toddler ever. She is madly in love with her neighbor, Jock. That's a nickname, obviously. His real name is Jack. And she calls him Doc because she can't say J's. And every morning, poor Daphne, her mom, has to like peer out the window and make sure that Jock is not jogging by, because if she tries to get Hadley, the little girl, out to the car so that she can go to daycare and Jock is walking by, Hadley will run after him. Now, Jock has a traumatic past. He lost his girlfriend and she was pregnant. His baby died in his arms, and he has PTSD from that. But also, that girlfriend was his twin brother's best friend, and they have been there's been a rift between them for a decade. And this book is one of my, I say this a lot, but this book is one of my favorites. And it absolutely is, because the emotions are so raw and so real. And the Steeles are one of my favorite families. But anyway, I'm not here to sell this book. I'm here to show you covers and tell you about my story. So some of them will have special editions, and all special editions are different. I'm going to show you in a minute. And then some have just my steamy, really, I call them my central covers, because I feel like all of the characters, all of the actors that I pick, the models, really show emotion toward each other. And that's the key to me and to my stories. Like, emotion is the heart of my stories. It's not the angst. It's not the kind of thing where you're going to go, oh, that would never happen in real life, because my books are very, very, very real life, but enough escapism that you come away feeling like you have just joined another family. So that isn't it gorgeous? That is the first book in the Steals at Silver Island, Tempted by Love, and this is their covers. Then I'm going to show you how things differ. So another of my favorite books is True Blue. You have seen it on TikTok, and Amazon. There's a green flag that says something about book talk. And so True Blue is one of my favorites. I waited a couple of years to be able to write it after I thought it up. Just because I had to fit it into my writing schedule, and I was writing so many series at the time. That's how long it took until I could fit it in. So True Blue is about a man who was previously incarcerated for 6 years for a crime he did not commit. His younger brother, who was 14 at the time, murdered his mother's drug dealer, and Truman took the hit. I don't want to give away spoilers, so I'm going to pause here and just say that his mother is the one who made him go to jail. His mother made him go to jail. Truman, is like 6'4", bearded, tattooed, just a big, burly, blue-collar guy. He's out of jail. This book starts when he's out of jail, 6 months out of prison, and he gets a call from his brother, Quincy. And Quincy now is 19, 20, and he has gone down the same path as his mother, unfortunately, and he is now a substance abuser. So Truman has spent 6 months trying to get Quincy to get help. Quincy has refused. So at this point, when he gets a phone call from Quincy, standing out in the rain, and he's like enjoying just being able to feel that rain on himself after being in prison for so long, he gets a call from Quincy, and Quincy says, Truman, I need you. And Truman can tell that Quincy is still just blitzed out of his mind. And he's like, no, when you're ready to do something to help yourself, I will help you. And he says, I need you. And Truman is getting ready to just end the call when he hears a baby cry in the background. Actually, I'm telling you this wrong, because what I should have told you first is that Quincy said, it's Mom. And that made Truman say, no, I don't want to have anything to do with her. Whatever mess you're in, you two have to deal with it together. And then he hears the baby cry, and his skin goes cold. And like all of us, many of us, and maybe not all of us, he has a really soft place in his heart for children that are in bad situations, because he grew up with a mother who was addicted to drugs. And he basically had to raise Quincy. So Truman, what does he do? Gets in his truck, drives over that bridge out of Peaceful Harbor down to the seedy part of town, and he finds Quincy on a concrete floor in a crack house. He's leaning over their mother, who has overdosed. She is gone. And in the corner of this room, on a filthy, dirty mattress, is a toddler and an infant, and they are screaming. They are dressed inappropriately. Diapers are horrid. They are dirty, and they are just crying and screaming. And then there's Quincy, who is blitzed and looking up at Truman. And Truman assumes these are Quincy's children. So what does he do? He goes over there and he scoops them up, and Quincy's like, well, what about me? And Truman says, when you're ready to get off drugs, I will help you. But until then, you are not coming near these children. That's when he finds out that they are his younger siblings. And so that's where this book starts. And yes, you'll get that scene. I just got goosebumps like all over. It really is truly one of my favorite stories. And it is so cinematic, and it is so real life and gritty. Anyway, he meets his heroine the first night in Walmart, and I'm not going to tell you anything about that, because I wasn't supposed to be talking about the stories. I was supposed to be talking about the books and the collection. So this is the first book in the Whiskies, Dark Nights at Peaceful Harbor, found family with a biker group. My bikers have hearts of gold. They are big, they are badass, they are alpha, but they are not douchebags. And that is the difference between my bikers and some others. They don't share women. They treat their women like gold. And no, they don't fall easy. They fall hard. They fight it. They all have their issues. You need the whiskeys in your life. But again, I digress. What I wanted to show you is the difference. So my standard cover for True Blue is just him and the baby. And yes, it is a romance. Yes, it is a steamy romance. I love the heroine, but this is the heart of the story. So that's why you have that on the cover. It didn't follow my general branding, but it wasn't meant to. It was meant to show you the story, like all of my other books. Now, you already saw the classic discreet for True Blue. And again, inside you will see True Blue. And one simple tagline on the back. But what you didn't see was the special edition. And let me show you how this is different from, for example, this one. So this is the hardback. I don't have a paperback of this with me at my cottage. But you see this one is a typical special edition. And actually this has things to do with the story. You'll find out when you read it. And True Blue was so... There's so many layers to this story and it's so gritty. I wanted a book that would really show that. So Truman he's coming from a very, very bad background. And when I say bad, I mean unhealthy for a child and a teenager, for anybody to grow up in. I don't want to say he's an artist, but he does paint on the side of cars in an old junkyard, and he does write, this is so cute, he writes fairy tales for his younger sister and brother because he doesn't want to read them the real ones because they all have sad things in them and he feels like they've been through enough shit in their life. They don't need that. So what you'll see on the front of somebody's calling and I should have turned that off. On the front of the book is, this is a dragon. This plays a part into the scene. And actually I had my son draw this for me because I wanted something that would show his inner demons. And this plays out in something that he paints in the story. You will see that it has the blue jeans and then it also has lace, and down here it has tulle, and it has letters that have been, words that have been written. So the reason is Truman is a blue collar worker, and that kind of is the denim and the harsh and the gritty that comes along with it. But Gemma owns that's his heroine, owns a Princess for a Day shop. So I wanted to do something feminine, and that's why we have the tulle and the lace. And there are a few little flowers on it as well. And again, there are reasons for everything. When you read this, you will see there's a crown here, and it is a gritty crown. That will make sense to you. So I just wanted to show you, and the baby shoe down here, the difference with my special editions. So some of the special editions will follow suit with story specific, and some will follow suit with a little bit more classic type of special edition. Now also, my special editions often have pictures, and my classic editions do not, because I wanted them to be significantly similar in every way. But my special editions do, and this one happens to have several. They have Truman and the baby, Truman and Gemma, Truman and Kennedy, and then the chapter headers have this gritty kind of paint ink spilling. There are reasons you will see when you read it, you will get the feel for the whole thing. So that's the difference. So again, with more than 100 books, people ask me, where do you start? That's a hard question, but my best answer is, because there's a learning curve with writing, just like any other industry, I suggest you start with my most current release. And the reason is that's going to give you the best idea, the flavor of my voice. It will give you the flavor of my stories. It will tell you so much about my world. You'll get a good character reference. You'll learn if you like my voice or if you don't. At this moment, my most recent release is Love, Lies, and Whiskey, which I can show you that as well. And I was not, I apologize, I was not organized enough to have that on my lap. But again, this is me. I don't plan anything. I just sit down and do it. So Love, Lies, and Whiskey This is the front of the special edition, and this one actually has a collage in it and a playlist, and it has a collage with pictures from the story. Love, Lies, and Whiskey is an epic second chance romance, but it is so much more. He is a vet who works on his family's ranch. The ranch is a second chance ranch where they rescue horses. They also have full psychological and medical services there. They hire people who have been previously incarcerated. They hire recovering substance abusers. They give them purpose. They work with them on the ranch while they're going through therapy. And they are the people who own it, and my heroes are part of the Dark Knights. So this is the Dark Knights in True Blue and is the Peaceful Harbor whiskeys. These are the whiskeys at Redemption Ranch. So this is the special edition. This is the hardback. I do have hold on. I do have the standard edition, and this is Sealy, and his road name is Doc, so everyone calls him Doc. He and Juliet met when they were teenagers, fell desperately in love, and then she was ripped out of his life. There is so much to this story. There's love, well, of course there's love. There's lies, there's deceit, there is touch her and DIE vibes. And there is more. I don't want to, I should give you trigger warnings, okay? There is some violence in this book because of what I just mentioned, and there is medical things that happen in this book, but I don't want to tell you what they are, but I will tell you that this book is so much more than probably, I would venture to say, any second chance that you've ever read. So Love, Lies, and Whiskey is my most current. So what I suggest is that you just pick up the most current, see if you like it. If you like my voice and you like my style and you like my characters, I really write strong women and I write strong men, and there is fantastic banter, but I'm not going to sell you on it. You can read it for yourself. And if you like it, you can then decide, do I want to go back and read the whole whiskey series, or start at the beginning of the whiskey series with the Peaceful Harbor, then go to their cousins, the Wickeds, and the Wickeds at Bayside, which is set on Cape Cod, or the whiskeys at Redemption Ranch, which is Colorado. Or you can go all the way back to the beginning and read from book 1 all the way through book number whatever, 120 something. There's so many options, and I have for you on my shop, these are available at all retailers. They are not in KU. I do have 3 series in KU and some standalones as well, because they are published by Montlake Romance. So if you just search Melissa Foster under Kindle Unlimited, you'll be able to see what's available there. But for the most part, all of my books are on every retailer and also on my shop. On my shop is the only place that you can get the classic discreet books, and and that also comes in ebook, by the way. It's ebook or paperback for all of my books. And I also have audio, 2 narrators, male and female, and they are available everywhere and as well as on my shop. But on my shop, you can get bundles that are discounted in every format. So you can get discounted bundles on ebooks, audio, print books. I also, if you join my VIP mailing list, then you get discounts, and you get them pretty often. I have people who are, getting 10% off of every single thing that they buy. So there's lots of goodies. I also have misprints on there. When I get a misprint, I take the price down and I put it in my misprint and damaged area on the shop, and you can get them there. Anyway, so that's me. And this is me raw, live, unorganized, just trying to tell you about my books. So again, Love, Lies, and Whiskey is my current book, and I am an indie author. I'm kind of hybrid because I've been writing with Montlake for a while, but that's just 1 series per year, and then I went down to 1 book a year with them because I have so many series that I'm writing on my own. I wanted to concentrate more on that. But all of my books that are not Montlake are all published through my publishing company. So, and I do have a staff of amazing helpers because I can never do this alone. And of course, I have Jojo, my pup, and who helps motivate me and keep me in line and reminds me that I need to go out and take a walk every once in a while. So if you've made it this far, thank you. I hope I have entertained you. I hope I have told you enough. If you have questions, just leave them in comments. I'll answer anything that you'd like to know. Thanks. Have a great day. Happy reading.